the Book of Brave Arrow. And link description below for the books of Heroscape, where you're able to find out, all the miniatures, not just classic scape, but you got your custom miniatures as well, all on heroscapers.com. Wonderful wealth of information from these. So first one, we're looking at this a hero, Brave Arrow. Let's go through them more quick. Human, unique hero, tribesman, fearsome, medium 5. Of course, Aquila, Valkyrie General, has 4 life, a move of 5 spaces, range of 1, attack of 4, defense of 3, 50 points. Not bad. And has few abilities here. Tracking. While moving, Brave Arrow may add 2 to his move number. If he does not, or if he can't, or if he does, he cannot attack this turn. So basically, just real movement boost at the beginning of the game, practically. Scout melee attack enhancement. All friendly scouts adjacent to Brave Arrow receive an additional attack die when an attacking figure adjacent to them. I'm sorry, I can't even read this writing. Yeah. Okay, let me reread that. All friendly scouts adjacent to Brave Arrow receive an additional attack die when attacking a figure adjacent to them. So a little bit of a boost. Concealment 10. This one, and this is the fun one. If Brave Arrow is targeted and receives 1 or more wounds from an attacking figure who is not adjacent, you must roll the 20-sided die. Count minimum number of spaces between the attacker and Brave Arrow. Add this number to your die roll. If you roll a 10 or higher, ignore any wounds Brave Arrow just received. And that makes him a fun mini. So yeah, this is Brave Arrow in a nutshell. Obviously synergizes pretty good with Mohican River Tribe, but can also when it comes to scout units, can do Vipers. Like for as far as like price, financially, kind of expensive to get. But the points, really 50 points, that's not bad for a unique hero. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Before my voice.
I love Brave Arrow.
Yeah.
I love Brave Arrow. The only problem I have with Brave Arrow is that he has no range options. Why they call him Brave Arrow if he just stabs people with his little dagger?
Right.
It should be Brave Knife. But
yeah. Should have a tomahawk
really,
throw.
yeah, something to. Because why is he called Brave Arrow? But that's just a nitpick aside. I love this unit. He's really fun in Viper builds. You really just kind of, and just the Native American army itself is just a really fun, dynamic army. You can kind of see towards the end of kind of the Heroscape releases, they're really starting to innovate the rule set, kind of get some really interesting and conceptual powers out there. It's solid unit. I love him.
I know this.
Yeah, I think he. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say I think he pairs so well with the Teeth of Makwa. I don't know if you guys have used them. They're a VC unit, but they have hunting parties. So every time you take a turn with him, you get to move 6 of your Teeth of Makwa 3 spaces. So you can really get them down the field and get them positioned really well because of him. Especially like round 1 of a game. He's phenomenal for that.
I'll have to look at that VC unit.
That's where I use him a ton. Like him and 3 or 4 squads of Teeth of Makwa are really nice.
Just look at it real quick. All right,
that's
so that's the VC unit right there. Interesting. Now and I mean we'll do like VC C3V segments in the future for sure. But are these miniatures Teeth of Makwa, are they difficult to get or are they kind of easy to get?
No, they're super easy to get and they're cheap actually.
Very nice.
You can get them at most hobby stores, and I think you get a full squad for like $6.
Nice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they're from Cinerama, which is like
Cinerama. Yeah,
very generic.
Is the only problem with them.
They just came out with a new version that's a better plastic because the original ones the pieces would break off their spears. The new ones that they just came out with is like a thicker plastic, and
that's great.
They may warp eventually, but they don't break like the old ones did.
Very interesting. And Jeremy, did you have something to say about Brave Arrow?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention because kind of going off of what Roguescaper said about seeing the experimentation on the powers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
This set is definitely handled more with the people we were familiar with as members of Heroscapers.com. This is, Wave 9. I don't know the exact time they jumped in terms of design, like the exact time frame, but the later sets, I want to say at least from Wave 8 or Wave 7 onwards, were directly contributed by like Truth, Grunge Bob, all those individuals that, those names that became commonplace to the Heroscapers forums. Like those individuals were then taken by Craig, invited them to play test and then give their contributions, and they were helping out with all sorts of like design elements and in between things. And so because they were selected, those individuals were then selected to create the characters that were part of the Dungeons and Dragons releases, right? So it's like the different people, they were already kind of contributing to these units, and a lot of the testing and stuff like that comes from their playing. And so you can kind of see more of that like community feedback coming into the picture, whereas a lot of the earlier sets, were kind of it was just that internal dev team who were playtesting, getting stuff out there. Around this time frame is when we start seeing more community involvement, and like that's why I'm really excited for, like, if Renegade takes a little bit of just like checks out how the forum used to work in the past and like how those people were able to be brought in as playtesters and give their contributions, like that's like a serious pool of inspiration, wisdom, and like and definitely like a lot of different playing methods, because that's awesome to think about. It's like, oh hey, we played this game 100 times, we know this part should definitely be fixed, and then the next set comes out, boom, it's fixed, and it's like the game can only get better from there.
Yeah.
And you already see it from these waves. You see from the early waves to the later waves with how the community feedback helped develop a better, the game design overall for Heroscape.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that come into play. Like if Renegade starts taking that information that we give them in terms of when we play the characters, we're like, hey, so we know this kind of power wasn't working as well as it could, and then they start adjusting that for future developments. I mean, that's gonna be really cool to see, like just that back and forth. So I was just thinking about that. I was like, this is when we start seeing a lot of the community feedback come into play, and it worked. It did
There's some really good units that came out of those waves. It went from like, the Master Set 1, which had almost no interplay between factions, or you have Krav Maga and Agent Carr, but they don't really play nice together. There's like they just look the same, whereas
the same
like,
themes,
and then you kind of go to more the basic bonding. You can take a turn with this guy, but like the Brave Arrows interplay with the Mohicans is just so dynamic, and it's always like a give and take, and you're always kind of like shooting from far, rushing in, and then it's just I love playing these guys.
You got to think about it too, but yeah, they are quite fun to use and learn through them. I mean, you got to know what you're doing, because it's not such a simple of a bonding thing. Certain things need to happen in order for you to get the full extent of the synergy. But yeah, for sure. Now, Jeremy, when it comes to like character bio or lore, all it says is TBA, and I think it's been there for a while. Do we know anything about Brave Arrow within the Heroscape universe?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Completely blank. Unfortunate side effect of.
Okay, you can just make something up now if you want. Like it's
that's the thing. I that's fair. But see, as an archivist, right? I don't want to create false information, so I have to tell the truth and be like, yes, there is no bio for this character.
It's cool.
It has been written. That's the important part. This is why I'm saying this every time. It has been written. Truth did create all of Wave 9's narrative information before it moved over to Wizards of the Coast, and then Wizards of the Coast took over that agreement, and according to all the NDA stuff, he wasn't given permission to release those bios back in 2010. So we're sitting at, it's 2024. I don't know if that NDA still applies. I don't know. Truth is now the CEO of Plaid Hat Games. I don't know if I don't even know how that works, if he could just release them. But if Renegade owns the IP of Heroscape, they would be directly responsible for initiating contact with him to figure out what was going on with those NDAs and then getting that released or deciding to release something new. We have nothing, so we don't know. But I do know he did mention a couple times throughout the forums that he did in fact have those written. So they are done. We just have never seen them. So fun little Heroscape lore there.
Renegade 20th birthday
Bring-
present. Yeah,
Literally,
Release all the
release
information
the
on stuff we
lore.
don't know about. Yeah, exactly.
it would just be so cool to see that. Like, they don't even have to, like, if they just randomly decide to drop it one day, you know, biggest and hey guys, we got the Wave 9 bios. I'd be like, what? Like, you know, like that. I would buy instantly, right? Like, I'm sold already.
Oh, yeah.
But
They've done the research.
It's such a good idea to kind of like pick up where we left off in the 20th year of Escape. That would be super cool. And Wave 9 bios would be a perfect bridge for that, at least for the lore guys. Like, we would be all over that. So
like the dwarf, it haunts me to this day. People have guessed why the dwarves serve Aquila, but it's all just speculation.
yeah, we've all been making theories and guessing, and just we have no context whatsoever. They're cool. That's about it.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up on this miniature, because it's an amazing miniature, and for anybody out there who's like just getting into Heroscape, because I mean this is what these segments are primarily for, just for someone to discover, okay, what are all the class Escape miniatures all about? You know, are they worth for me getting when it comes to like casual or tournament play? So now I know Brave Arrow is not cheap. But then I'm going to direct this question to Jason for a second. Jason, if you would like be in tournaments and Heroscape tournaments, and you would say, I think Brave Arrow, you know, might be a fun miniature to learn, but I mean the cost is a little bit much, and maybe I want to save. You know, if you got your own 3D printer, I mean there are ways to 3D print them, and save a little bit that way, or get someone to 3D print and paint them. For a lower cost. I mean, how do you think would be a good approach? And especially like Brave Arrow, there's not as much as like other class Escape miniatures out there. What are your thoughts on that for people out there that like, okay, this looks good, but how do I get it?
Well, I got them up on eBay right here.
Mm-hmm.
Factory and shipping, approximately $35 is the going asking price for a number of auctions for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks to be the original miniature, not a 3D printed one. I mean, at that point, if you're competent with 3D printers, and you can probably crank out the supports for a resin model pretty quickly, then that might be the better option. You want to go down that route, and you have a whole bunch of paints already ready to go. You know, if you've got a couple $100 of paint sitting around, then maybe that's a better option. But $35 is not bad if you don't have a resin printer, don't have a bunch of paints, and have no painting skills.
Mm-hmm. With Mohican River Tribe, though, Mohican River Tribe's that's an expensive squad.
That might be a different topic.
Yeah.
This is where we wish Mohicans were unique, because then you would only have to buy them once. But unfortunately, you're gonna have to buy a couple more for them to work.
Yes.
Let's see, Mohican River Tribe.
120 probably.
Yeah, they're
about $70 per squad right now.
Oh, really?
Maybe
still rough, but
70.
Not as bad.
Okay, 70 to 90-ish.
Per
okay,
squad.
So that's getting up there.
Yeah, there you go.
You just need 4 squads, you know, and
4 squads is about a minimalist resin 3D printer. You still got to get a bunch of knowledge how to actually use the thing, but you know,
I'll just say I just printed about 16 of them for $3. So
it's probably about right.
But I think Blake made a very good comment at the beginning with when it comes to synergy benefits of like C3V customs, and that might be a good approach. I know a lot of people, C3V might not be your cup of tea, but especially when it comes to like tournament or even casual play, once you dive into C3V, like I said, it's a black hole that you can't get out of. It's just and you want to be there. It's just like, okay, I love being in this space because I can make up these things and just it's just nerd heaven, really.
It opens up so many new options and armies, and it, you know, like before I said, I have all these figures I don't use very often. C3V has definitely brought some of those other classic figures made them viable because they synergize with just other things. So I think that, like, I think about like Quhan with the spiders, you know, like there's just so many things like that really, I mean, the spiders are good and there's already some good bonding options, but he changed, or she, I guess I'm not sure what Quhan is. They really change things completely in how you use spiders. So I think that it's definitely worth looking into if you're really into the game. And the nice thing is, everything that was done in the C3V community was done by the community, and they spent a ton of time putting it together. So
absolutely,
it's not just some guy in his basement saying, here's a card, you know.
Absolutely. So that is taking a look at Brave Arrow for your consideration toward building your Heroscape armies.